into shadows, uncovering the light. Guess with solid minds, no tales of the strange. In Sasquatch Secrets, they'll begin to rearrange. Truth's the vibe, we're on a quest. Look beyond the trees, what do you see? Factual stories redefining history. No myths, no magic, let's break the mold. With every word spoken, the wonders unfold. Footprints in the snow, not just a myth. Data and research was sift through the pit. Tales of a creature, but science leads the way. Nikki's quest for knowledge, come join and stand.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sasquatch Secrets. I'm your host, Nikki Cologne. So, tonight's episode, we are stepping out of the woods and into the real life because, being a Bigfoot podcaster isn't all howls and wood knocks. We're going to be talking about what it's really like behind the mic, chasing content, dodging burnouts, juggling schedules, and yes, sometimes choosing between editing a show or attending a family dinner. There's a lot to it, and some of it's good and some of it's bad, but we're gonna get in a little bit into it, a little bit of seriousness, either way. We'll get through it, and I'm sure I saw many of you over on Brent's channel, The Tall Ones, who he's on a beautiful mountain right now, being a little down and out. Please reach out and let him know we all care. For sure, we care, we love him. He is going to be stepping back from the Bigfoot scene, and that's not a bad thing. It's probably time. I think a lot of people do that. They step back and reevaluate, and he's got his reasons, and you guys can go check out his channel. He's going to be putting out he's got his videos out there, and I'll let you guys go and check those out for yourself. And I'll have a little message for him here near the end. We'll do a little message for Brent, but so let me, before we go on, check out the chat. Let's see who's here today. I'm going to go all the way up to the top. We're about at 20 right now in the chat, so that's good. Of course, I see Lazy Cowboy said, I have a good one. I'll catch it tomorrow. See you later, Ed. He's across the pond, so I'm sure he's fast asleep. Sharon, have a great show, Nikki. Thank you. Henry May, hugs to you too. Thank you for coming. Sandra Piper, of course. Love you. Hope you're doing well. There's Robert Denduven. Good evening. Gary Johnson, welcome. Lady in the Woods, hello. Thanks for coming in. Who else have we got? There's Bigfoot Dwarf. How you doing, Glenn? Man, I so wish I could have gone to the Bluff Creek thing, put my arms around you, buddy. So there'll be more chances. I'll get there. I'll get there eventually. Oh, and Valor Views just showed up. Is that Donald's? And I think that's who we've got talking right now in the chat. So thank you all for coming in and checking out the show. It's Squatching the Schedule behind the mic of Sasquatch Secrets. So, of course, this all came about because of things happening with my best friend Brent, and things that we all go through. We all go through some hard times and stuff, but it really is a whole different dynamic trying to have such a strong pull to a subject and nobody around you has that same, oh, now my printer's going to clean itself. Oh, I'm going to have to turn it off because it's a really long cycle. Hold on. Let me mute it for a sec. Okay, sorry about that. That was rude. Rude of my printer. Um yeah, next year. Next year, Glenn. So, I was rudely interrupted, and it's we all go through these things, and uh but some of it is when you're so focused on uh your hobby, your whatever it is in life. Everybody's got something that they're really into. Some are building cars, some people paint, some people do crafts and are really into it, and it you get a little obsessed with that. But when it comes to Bigfoot, that's a big obsession because we spend a lot of money, a lot of time away from home to do those things. And I've run into that problem too, where I'd rather go camping than go do something, maybe with my husband. We do have hobbies we do together. We're big concert goers, and that's one of our big things. But we've had issues, not so much as where we've had to stop and say, no, do this with me or do this with me. And we've come to conclusions where we're going to make more effort, to I'll do the things he wants to do and he can come out camping with me. He doesn't have to go Bigfoot hunting or whatever. He can just go camping and sit back and chill, and I'll have him a drink ready and he can prop his feet up by the fire all night. That's all I need is just somebody there with me. But the thing is that doesn't really happen a lot. Usually it's just one person in a relationship or family that is into that. My husband hates camping. He was in the military for 26 years. He said he doesn't ever want to stay in a tent ever again. But, he's willing to make allowances, possibly now. And it will circle back around, hopefully. It's just important to hold on. Somebody has to hold on when things get rough. And but there is this whole idea, and you know what? I had slides, but I neglected to download them because I was over there watching Brent's channel. And I was like, give me a second to upload these. You have to do like so many different things just to get your stuff loaded up. You can't just it's processing now. So that I was going to talk about was that weekly grind, is I have a weekly show. So I used to, on my earlier shows, I used to start thinking of the shows on Tuesday or Wednesday of what I was going to start working on. And then Thursdays and Fridays were my build days, what I used to call my build days, where I would make a thumbnail, come up with the name and the idea, right? Come up with a thumbnail. Then you have to create the show through StreamYard. Then you have to promote it and you have to put it out onto Facebook so that people know that you're having a show. And there's a lot of things, and that takes time. You know, the better the thumbnails, the more time you spent on them. And so can be a hassle, that whatever I'm doing with my kids, okay, we're big puzzlers. We love to do puzzles over here. So I'll be sitting with my kids and we're doing a puzzle or whatever. And I'll be looking at my, watch going, I gotta go make a thumbnail for the show, or I gotta go do this research, or I have to contact some people to get on my show on Sunday. And, it's a bummer. It after how long have I been on now? Is it going 3 years now that I've been here or been doing this? That, you can just see their faces. We're having fun doing whatever we're doing. And it's like, I just bursted their bubble by, having to stop what I'm doing to try to produce a show. And I had help too. I had Slackmate Wit, who would help me do a little behind the scenes producing, helping me with ideas, helping me with names for shows. And even that stopped. And it's been almost a year since Slackmate has been hanging around. We all go through cycles, and it's coming and going, coming and going. And I had Brent on as my co-host for a whole year, about a year, which was great. We did a lot of great shows, but that also ran its course. And I think that's really important to realize that, this isn't, we really don't get paid to do this. It's such a minuscule amount that comes through every 2 or 3 months, really. Okay. But we do this from our heart. We do this because we love the subject. We love to talk about things. But it's hard to stay fresh in this kind of niche, special subject. And I'm going to keep kind of stopping myself so I can keep track of the chat, because this subject doesn't change very fast. Things are very stagnant. Okay. It's the same thing every day. And even encounter stories, they're kind of the same, right? That's why I don't really pay attention a whole lot to the encounter stuff. And that's fine. People love the story channels, and there's thousands of them now. Everybody has got some type of encounter thing going on. But the pressure to stay relevant is real. Okay. To have your audience engaged is it's a lot of pressure. It's every time I come on and I'm trying to have new stuff for you guys. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it feels like the show I put on last week, and you're constantly, I wanted to get to a plateau. That plateau had a number, and it was 1,000. I wanted to hit 1,000 so I could unlock a bunch of different things here on YouTube, and it would allow me to do more, have music creator, have other stuff. But you have to hit that 1,000 mark. So that was my goal. My only goal was to hit that. And it felt good when that happened, because I had such a special kind of show. It wasn't about bringing people on and talking about their encounters, because there was so many other of those going around. And what happens is you have a person go onto a show and do their encounter, and then within a week, they're on 5 or 6 different podcasts doing the same encounter thing all over again. Boom, 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 boom. That's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be in that same succession of shows. So, and I've always been more interested in, the nefarious side of things, the things that weren't really the positive end of the stick, all the hoaxes, all the hoodwinks, all the craziness that happens, in our community. And we'll continue to do that. That'll never stop, because there's always going to be out there that want to pull the wool over your eyes. They will be the clickbaiters, those who are just working for the views. There will always be those other type of content creators. We'll call them content creators, and they do very well. I mean, look at NVTV and their viewage. Go pick out one of their high views in the last month and look down at the comment section, because that's what I like to do is I go to these comment section, because you get a really wide range of understanding from that. Oh my God, I knew they were real. Stuff that is not real. And I generally have answers for a lot of that stuff, but it is crazy how many people I feel like, oh my God, another sucker's born. How can they want Bigfoot to be real so bad that they would believe a baggy ass suit like that? I'm constantly telling myself that. And that stuff keeps me going. That's the stuff that keeps me wanting to continue. Let me update over here. Continue doing this type of stuff. Even if it's over and over, when it comes to the hoaxes or the people putting out stuff, if I know what it is, then I'm going to tell them, no, that's not it's this. The Dale Odell illustration came out this last week, was the last, was something that came out again. And I was like, no, that's an illustration. It's not even a real picture. And right away, people will say, how do you know that? And where's your proof? And you're just being negative. And if you don't believe in Bigfoot, then just don't, come on to this group. And then they'll start yelling for admins and I'll get booted or whatever. But people aren't even willing to hear the truth, which it's kind of sad, that has to happen, or it does happen quite often. But that's something that as creators, that we all deal with. Now, I've been doing this for several years, so that's why it's harder now. It's getting harder and harder the more you go to be creative, and to come out with new shows or change things around, focus on other things. But it's that repeating themes, it's very hard. Let's see, I'm going to move to this one, I think. I don't know, maybe this one. What do you think? This is the one. I think this is the one that Lockbeard used to use. Let's see if it works. Yeah. So, it changed my whole thing. So now you can't read it. Weekly grind, right? That's what we're talking about. It's the repeating themes, the repeated sightings, the same theories go around over and over again. And we talk about these things over and over. What do they eat? Where do they sleep? Where do they go in the winter? Where do they migrate? All these things those are the repetitive subjects that come up over and over. And I have just been taking that and trying to make the best of what I have, because we don't have uh, the hardcore evidence. We don't have it. No matter who says we do, we really don't. Otherwise, this would just, it wouldn't, it would be in the books. It's not. So, uh, always trying to find the new spin. Always. Sometimes I get ideas about things and I have to jot them down, because it's like, oh, we never ever talked about that. And those are the ones you want to grab a hold of for a story, for a show, so that we can have another conversation. I do have a couple of shows that are in my mind, but because they take different people, working on schedules and stuff is really hard. I wanted to still do a show about um Bigfoot encounters that ended with some type of kidnapping, or kidnapping of of moms or women and children, which is kind of a history tribal end to it. So I do have a guest that's going to be talking about that, but we have to wait, because things happen, and I was busy, he was busy. I was busy, he was busy. And yeah, that's the way it is too, with getting guests. It's kind of stressful, because you want to line up guests early, but not too early. And then, oh man, and then you're sitting backstage 5 minutes to showtime, and 4 guests that you've invited are not there. So there's a lot of stresses like that involved. I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to do this whole show by myself. But yeah, those are some of the things that I kind of go through every week. And then last week I got called into work. And I got called into work, and that was the end of that. I just put a message out, sorry. I got to go to work. They called me and I had to go. And then the week before that, I was sick. And several weeks before that, my husband was in town. So, there you go. You got to make that room for life when it comes to this kind of stuff, because you can get carried away pretty easily. Now, I don't use this as my money maker. I by no means does this make me any money to survive or to do anything but occasionally pay my StreamYard fees, which have gone significantly up. If you don't know, they really doubled the price of using the service. So there's that. And one thing that I'm constantly worried about is, how do you guys feel about repeated Bigfoot topics, about repeating this over and over, even with my new takes or looking at it in different ways? I know some of you, is Grasshopper here? He's one of them. Grasshopper, you're guilty if you're listening. Who is like, I can just see him going, oh, this again. We're going to talk about this again, type of thing. So that always worries me, because I'm like, oh, we've kind of talked about this, but not this way, So I'll do a show on it, and I try to make it as new, exciting, or fresh as possible, with maybe different types of questions. But Nikki, let's get Joe and Pat Parker on to share their experience from this past March, when they thermally filmed a human-like being at night off the road, the movement in Louisiana. I do know about that sighting, Jonathan. I've heard them talk about that stuff. And yeah, I would be willing to have them come on and talk about it. The thing is remember, I'm not an encounter podcast, okay? And I am what am I? I'm an evidence skeptic. So I don't want to put somebody into a position of coming onto my show and me criticizing or critiquing their goods, you know, because that's what I do. That's, I am very harsh on videos and pictures, and I like them. I like them a lot. So it's kind of this give or take thing with me on, if they come on, they need to know that, I'm not going to pull any punches. If I think it looks like nothing, I'm going to say it looks like nothing. And I don't want that to harbor any bad feelings toward anybody, because I really like them a lot, and I do that for anybody's stuff, because that's what I've always done for 10 years, for more than 10 years, since 2014. I have 2013, 20, right in there. Have done that, remained that if I don't think it looks like anything, I'm going to say it doesn't look like anything. If I think it's just a blurry blob squatch, stump squatch, tree squatch, whatever it is, I'm going to say that. So that's the only reason I don't have that many people come on and give their encounter stories, because I'm not here to, if they think they have Bigfoot, fine, but I have the right to say that is a tree. That is a bush. You have no movement, you have no whatever, it could be anything. And I don't want that on me. I just, it's one of the big things, but I don't mind. If they would come on and talk about it, that's fine. But people just saying, "Oh, I went out this, I went to go check out this place, and there was a big squatch out there," da da da, just like that. Thousands of people go out there checking, and then they go out and there's a Bigfoot, and they say it's repeatable. Every time they go out, they see a Bigfoot, yet there's not one iota of proof of that. It just makes you really suspicious. It should make you really suspicious. So, again, I try not to double my shows up, but it happens, and the shows sometimes will always go towards certain things, like Bluff Creek and the P&G film and Freeman footage and Todd Standing and Mike Patterson, and things will always lead to those people, because they're, at the top of the subject for hoaxing, for golden evidence. The P&G will always be held as the number one video evidence of Bigfoot. So, and let me see. Let me go back, because there was something here and I wanted. Oh, okay. Yes, we read that one. Keep it going, Nikki. Everything's a cycle. You're right. It surely is. Donald says, Nikki, everything is expensive. The recent AI video I made with Mr. Lee and I in trophy trucks was about $30. You did it for 30. Oh my God. $30. Let's see. I think you do a great job putting your shows together. You work hard, bring truth and honesty. That's what I look for. Thank you, Sharon. Now, I had a little stumble. And remember, I used to have 3 pay membership things. And I realized I wasn't giving you guys enough. I wasn't giving enough. That's why I got rid of the last 2 paid memberships, because I wasn't producing those extra video footage and special stuff, because I found all of a sudden I didn't have time, and then I got a job, and then I really didn't have time. So it's a struggle, to make sure that I have enough content. And I put out some more shorts today of old content, right? Because I'm not caught up. I have tons of stuff I could do short videos on. It just takes time to render them. It takes time to pull them up, to get the exact thing, the names, the descriptions. It's a full-time job. It could be, a full-time job for somebody to do these things. But not for me. Not for me in the morning. My job are all early shifts mostly. I may have one evening shift a week, but so I'm early to bed, early to rise, and that changes things. Whereas when I first started this channel, I was a night owl, so I would sit up and work up a heck of a show, because I just stayed up and did it. But I appreciate that, Sharon. You've been here since the very beginning, and I totally appreciate you coming and watching me every Sunday. You and Sandra and Tessa, and there's a whole gaggle of you that have been so loyal and have always been here to support me and what I've done, and it is greatly appreciated. Trust me, it is. And many of you I haven't talked to a lot of you through text in a long time because I've been so busy. And I kind of miss that. I used to check in with you guys way more than the last 6 months, for sure. But again, sorry, that was me. I hit the button. I kicked myself out. I kicked myself out of my own show. Hold on. I got to put everything back the way it was now. Like this? Yeah. I got too emotional. I hit the button. That's how sensitive this new thing is. You hit this button and you're out. So did I lose a bunch of people? No, everybody stayed here. I got back on as fast as I could. Every time I come on to StreamYard, something's new. So I did a Britney Spears. Oh, shit. Yeah, now all my settings are all off. What is going up? What is going on? Hold on. Okay. Boo. Is that better? Did I fix? I think I did for me. Okay. Yeah, don't hit that button. It's kind of orange. It's not really red. It's kind of orangey. Okay. Again. There was one more question, Nikki. Don't sweat it. The subject is in a slump per se, but it'll only take a little time and things could liven up, which is true. That's true because hoaxers. Okay, it's true because people are always going to try to pull a fast one, and you got to be ready for it. Got to be ready for it. Let me see. If you ever need ideas for show content, Nikki, let me know. I have a bunch of ideas. I am taking your word for that, Relic. Absolutely. Contact me on Messenger with anything you have. I just need the ideas and I can roll with it. Slackmate used to just throw stupid things, and I would pull a freaking show out of that. I'm like, oh, wait, that gives me an idea. And, it really brainstorming works for me. It really works for me. As long as I can find information on certain subjects and things, I can do that. But you get into a total slump about things. And occasionally it's like, oh God, do a show. What am I gonna talk about this week? And some of them end up being some of the best shows I've had. Sometimes people will just jump on and we just talk, and that's great. But again, revolving, changes. Look at Jeff. He had a great Pine Island Research was a great channel. He had great content. He knows how to interview people. It was, a really good channel to hear good information, hear honesty, hear the truth, not a bunch of made up BS. And he ran his cycle, He got involved with good people. He was a part of a really big show. Then he decided to get off. And he did a book. Matter of fact, I'm like, I have all kinds of books that I'm reading, a bunch of books at one time. little books. But here it is. I'm like, I had his book right here. Pine Island Incident. Now I can't even put that back. He ran his cycle, and all the BS that happens takes a toll. It takes a toll on somebody who's always got their head in the book, right? Head in the subject. Every day when I go looking for stuff, I'm like, again? And for 3 years, it's been, I don't care. There it is. I'm going to attack it. I'm going to tell them what it really is. And things are going to be great. So let's see. Any other? Yeah. Believe me, life happens. Nikki, you are my Bigfoot buddy. Thank you, Sandra. Yeah. I'll give it to you real. I'm not gonna BS you guys. I think you deserve way better quality information. And what's wrong with the truth? I don't understand all the fluff. Okay. Why people have to say, I saw Bigfoot. This is it. Look, he's standing back there and in that round thing right there, that darkness, that's Bigfoot. Why even show that? What if it really was Bigfoot? Fine. Why even show that? If you knew nobody's going to even believe it. If it doesn't stand out on its own, if it's not P&G quality or even Freeman quality, okay? Because it's either a real Bigfoot or it's a guy in a suit, right? Same thing with Patty. It's a Bigfoot or it's a guy in a suit, right? There's no other choice. It's not a tree or a shadow or an unidentified bear walking up or whatever. Those are the type of videos that we need. More of those. Oh, yes, Donald. And AI has just gone so crazy that people are just believing all of it. They can't even tell the AI the digital look, to those videos. Because to me, they have a very particular look to them. But no, I guess not everybody sees that, Yeah, the last couple of panels, because I just let everybody stay up there. I didn't have anything in the background, no slides or anything going. We just ran wild. See, I didn't even. Oops. Dang it. Why does it always kick me out of that thing? You really have to be careful with this new system. Okay. So we get to, where are we? If I was to ask you guys, this is the next section I was going to talk about is called squatching versus schedules and stuff like that. But if I were to ask you guys, what would you like to hear more about? The same, whatever I put out? Or is there more of one particular topic that you guys would like to hear me talk about? Or, you know, you know, find out about? I mean, I really don't know what kind of what people are still interested in. What do you guys still want to hear? We talked about several times, I've talked about where I think they come from, why I don't think that they're massive things, why I think they can't get that big. I've talked about what they've eaten, what do they speak, their prints, their winter squatch. uh the crowns are just who talks the most, who has the most interaction, Jonathan, in the chat. um Joe did have a way with words. He had a way of rambling on, but he really could grab his audience, on the things he would talk about. So yeah, we miss Joe. I talked about him the last time too, I think. Was it? But so that's one of my questions is what would you like to hear more about? And if there is an episode that I have done, is there one that has struck you uh, the most? What was the best show that you think I've done? I want to know, not just based off of views, because I can go, because sometimes some of my crappy shows get a lot of views, and I'm like, why did that happen? When this show that only got 200 views, I thought was a bomb. It it's not reliable really, because the whole way YouTube puts out videos is just crappy right now. And I was blacklisted for a while, shadow banned for a while. I don't know. I haven't even checked lately, but you couldn't even find me. So that didn't help. I don't even know how long I had been shadow banned before people started telling me. You liked the Ladies of Bigfoot show? And you know what? I didn't get very many views on that show, and I liked it too. I think I had like 3. Ladies of Bigfoot. That's a good one. Uh, I would like to see you simply going back over the confirmed hoaxes again, so it's continuously being thrown out. Yeah, go back. I've been wanting to do my big book of shame. I put that in a couple of different shows, and I never got to it. The whole show would be over, and I never even got to my big book of shame. We could just go through my big book one page at a time. We wouldn't even finish in the 2 hours. um Shit, what was I writing? I was writing notes about something. um so back to hoaxes. How about big book of shame? Bigfoot Book of Shame, actually, is what it is. Ooh, my writing's really bad. No one talks about the cryptids that follows Bigfoot. I didn't know there was a cryptid that follows Bigfoot. I see many new names in the chats, and I'm nearly certain these newbies are possibly not privy to what we already know. Probably not. There's a gnat here, and I'm gonna get it. Native perspective. Native, yes. I definitely have a couple of ideas for a couple of different shows. Native, you said perspective, but topics. I have a connection now to some people on the reservation. I might be able to get them on here to talk about that. That'd be interesting, huh? Matter of fact, he just one of them contacted me. Evidence or eyewitness accounts of Native Americans. Okay. Natives. Okay. Got it, Jay. Got it. I see. Okay, I already read that. So balancing, we're talking about a lot of balancing here. Day job, my responsibilities as a mom, live show deadlines. I used to do, like I said, Thursday, Friday used to be my build days. I'm building and putting on shows in one day now. And so the quality goes down when that happens. To me, the quality goes down. I don't have as many slides and as much backing paper, because I don't know if you guys know, or most of you know, but I kind of script out a loose questions, and it's not because I don't want to come up here and just be like, I don't know. Sometimes I'll do that, but it's very rare that I don't have something here in front of me so that we don't have dead air, right? I may have to fiddle through some stuff, but I've got something to rely on if the conversation goes dry, and because that's the way I work. I knew the commitment it was going to take to do a podcast, a Bigfoot podcast. So canceling, I hate canceling shows. I really, really do. And I don't want to. So when I do cancel shows and 2 back to back, it kills me. It just kills me. So I do try to give you the reason, like I have to go to work. I don't know what to tell you. Bye. That's life. That's the real life stuff that has to happen. The same when my husband came. That's my real life. That's my life. He's my life. So that was a priority. And in the past, not so much, maybe, because when you don't communicate things with your loved ones or your spouses, that causes issues. Communication is the key to all relationships. I will always say that, and not without hesitation, because we saved our marriage. And even though he's gone right now, we've never been stronger. There is not a moment he isn't thinking about me or wants to not talk to me. And that hadn't been in a while, but we realized that we lost we lost grip on our marriage because I was doing my thing, which was Bigfoot things for 2-3 years, the online. I've been involved for a long, long time, but the online stuff, and he was doing his stuff, he's a big time uh shooting range and going to all the different clubs, shooting ranges. So, he had his his wolf pack of guys who would go out, to the mountain and shoot and do what the manly men, thing. So we just, we lost that for a little while. We got it back, thank God. It changed for me. Things changed for me. I started to like myself again. And a lot of people actually noticed when that started to happen because I looked different. I look a little bit happier, maybe, or I don't know. I don't know. You can just, people could tell. And yes, Rick Dyer updates. Do you guys want Rick Dyer updates? Because I still talk to the man. I still do talk to him. I'll put that down. Let me see. Do you doing your hair and makeup, girl in love? Yeah. Yeah. Yep. We were not giving up. We can't quit each other. So, one of us could never quit, and now neither one of us will ever quit. And it feels good that we realized how close we came to ruining things. I think we put our kids in shock. For sure. I'm like, you girls are old enough to know. This is supposed to be our empty nesters time. Too much work to start over. It really is. I'll never, yeah. Oof, no. So, I don't know. I hope I never upset anybody by, you know, pulling the plug on a show because of whatever, whatever reasons I have. They're usually pretty good reasons. Not intentional. And I don't produce stuff like, say, Steve Culls does. That's what he does. He is really a whole showman. He's a whole kit and caboodle. He does a show every other day. What is it? Wednesdays, Fridays, Sundays? Does he? And he puts out something on Mondays too. So he's constantly producing content. I'm sure he is, sitting on his computer right now to do that because that takes that much time. If he's doing that much, takes a lot of time. See, when did my email start going on the bot ticking on this? When did that happen? Did I hit another button that made that happen? What the heck? I don't even know where that is. Oh, right here. But how did that happen? That's weird. Yikes. Yeah, see, Steve's been working a lot too. And we have to do that. Everybody has to work, I've always wondered about that guy from the old TV shows he was on. Dragon time? What are you talking about? Can somebody help me out there? What dragon time is referring to? Are you wondering about for me to do a show about this guy? Who is it? I don't understand. If somebody understands what they're saying, let me know. Um I had big scheduling disaster on here, but doesn't really make sense now. So my next question was, how do I explain my passion for Bigfoot? Like to my non-squatching loved ones, right? Well, my kids know how much I love to talk about Bigfoot and that kind of takes over a lot of my life. And my husband knows and he supports it. He just doesn't want to be involved in it. Right? But we've come up with a solution. We've talked about it, that okay, you don't like camping. So what if I make it glamping? Take the big tent and don't take the cots, but take the big air mattress, the big one, that you can actually is like a bed, and just make him comfortable out there. Just, he doesn't want to collect firewood. He doesn't want to do that stuff. So I bought a propane fire pit that we can take out there, and we just have to hook that sucker up and turn it off when we go to bed and turn it on when we want to turn it on. There was a solution, right? You don't want to pick up wood for a real wood fire? Fine, I'm fine with that. So, and he loves when I camp cook, so that's not an issue. He'll eat anything I cook out there. And I'll be out there being happy, and he can be out there doing nothing but chilling. He can have his music on. He can do all that. So we're coming in, and I can go shooting with him. So, Nikki, what I wouldn't want to see is for Sasquatch Secrets to lose its Sunday night slot. Maybe some of us could take the reins for a show or two a month. This would allow for shows to continue. Right. Generally, I'm gonna be here on Sundays. I my boss gives me Sundays off because we have somebody who covers Sundays. All she can do is work Sundays, so we all get Sundays off. It's really nice. And so this last time I had to go to work, it's because there was a mistake made in scheduling. And he forgot to schedule somebody, and they left out of town. So they couldn't even call them in. And I was the only one who picked up the damn phone. So I kind of got suckered into doing that. I worked 6 days in a row. It was hard on my knee, let me tell you. That was a really rough 6 days. I loved the paycheck though. The paycheck was good. But it nearly killed me. I'm only supposed to be working 3 or 4 days, and I worked 6. And yesterday, I had 11,000 steps in by 1:30. I know for some of you guys that's like nothing, but for me it's a lot. Hank Hill. What is Jay saying? Hold on, I'm gonna move it over here. Bigfoot is so close to being real zoology, but the weird cryptos have really made it harder by the academics to get involved. Right. Okay, I get it. You're saying that, they're already making it real, but we don't have the evidence. We don't have the evidence. Yes, it was. It was very nice. And then I spent almost over half of it on groceries. Sucks, man. Groceries are just so high. Your husband will be chilling at camp while you're in the woods. He will be the one to see something. I know. And then he'll be freaked out because he doesn't want to see one. He's told me he does not want to see one. Why am I not a moderator? You're not a moderator? What happened? You were a moderator, weren't you? Wait a minute. I don't understand that. I don't I don't understand that. I thought you were always a moderator. Huh. No. I didn't know what happened. Say something about mom. Say some You should already be changed. Did it change? How do I tell? Dang it. Oh, there you go. Okay. You're fixed. You're blue. You're blue now, sister. Okay. That was a minor issue. I don't know how that happened. I thought you were always the one. Uh okay, what was my next? What time is it? Okay. If you're a researcher or a content creator, have you ever had to make tough choices? All the time. All the time. Last year, a lot of hard choices. We were into a lot of uh what do we call them? Arguments, tiffs, fights with a bunch of different people, and I supported it. I supported the truth. So it didn't matter if I got backlash, and some of it were really hurt, and you were all there for all the craziness, with Brent and me, and it was a bunch of different people back then that we were not on the same page. And some of them were really ugly, like that guy from the UK, that one guy, you know what guy. Some of them from, several of them from the East Coast. And I never want to pick a fight, but there was truth. There were truths there. And there were a lot of lies being said. So you make choices, of what you're going to do and how you're going to carry yourself and what you're going to try to explain. And I tried to be truthful, and I got hurt. I moved on, but I did get hurt, and there were things like I got really sucked into with Brent. It wasn't, I don't know. I'm always going to support Brent on that end of things. So, he didn't want that to happen. Hence, he left being my co-host to avoid that. And now he's come full circle, and he knows that none of that makes a difference. That him trying to say people are not in this field for good, it doesn't make a difference, because people are going to believe who they want to believe. And I can be repetitive and keep saying, well, this is what it really is. And if you want to believe the truth or not believe the truth, it's still up to you. It's still up to that person. If you want to keep believing BS from somebody, then that's all on you. My nose got pluggy. Where's my tissue? Nikki, I put it above, but how other, oops, hold on. How about other content creators outside the circle of the regular ones that you find interesting and have them on, new faces, etc.? Yes, I want to do that. I do want to do that. Get people who maybe have smaller channels than me who want to get a step up. And I have tried to do that. Let people know about groups that, I really find interesting, and I'll drop it in my posts, study Sasquatch, and now I can't think of all the names, but there are some good channels out there. There's some people who they're doing okay work. They're doing the same. They're not coming out with a lot of evidence because there isn't enough evidence to be had, So I want to do that. So let me see. New creator guests. I'll start putting out some feelers on some people. If you guys know of a channel that you really like, that you feel that they're honest, that they're putting out good content, leave me a message, find me on Messenger, go to harrymanhoaxes.com, leave me an email on who they are, and we'll see if I can get some of these people on. Let's see. I agree. He is one of the good guys. He made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. Okay, so next, what was I going to talk about? Burnout in the bush. It's really, it happens to a lot of people in creating content where you hit a wall. You come to a point where you're like, oh, I just can't do this anymore. Why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? I'm not getting paid to do this. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, oh, I have an idea. And then I run with it and everything's okay. But it's always in the back of my mind that there's going to come a day where I'm done with this, where I'm going to be done with this too. I don't know when that'll be. I don't know. And maybe if I had more time or if I had woods like right outside my door, it would be even better for me because I could go out, within half an hour and be out in the woods. But I am not near the woods. It takes me 2 hours to get to a spot that has had sightings. And I know Brant travels like an hour and a half to all the different locations he goes to. But he's in prime territory and he hasn't found anything substantial, evidence-wise, he hasn't found anything substantial. Possibility of a sighting, but he don't know what it was. Right. Hoaxers, they're intentionally doing that crap. Intentional. So, but I'll tell you, there is something that energizes me into keeping up with this channel, and that's comments. People putting comments in under my videos and stuff like that. Those keep me going. when people leave nice comments. I'm even not nice comments sometimes, but for the most part, people, will dig a show and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I really love the show and I identified with it," or "This was good and you should do this or that." I like that stuff. That's the stuff that makes me go, "Whoa, okay, somebody was watching, somebody was paying attention," and keeps me going for the next week or the next week and the next week. So that's what keeps me energized is the comments, people leaving comments, encouragement, uh, or people saying, "I shared your show here or there." Those are always the good things. So, but there's that temptation every now and then just to say, "Oh, I'm just gonna stop." Go back to the way it was, me going from show to show to show. We had a lot of really good shows 3 years ago, and I was just jumping around from like all of I had my list of shows that I would go to every week. And that was just part of the game. So taking a break from this, I thought about just taking breaks, longer breaks, and then coming back and doing a few shows and breaks. But I think that's probably not a great idea in the long run. So I don't really want a break. I guess I need more help with producing, more help with coming up with ideas because I've had a really good streak of some good ideas, and I'm coming back down, and I know uh Slackmate has said, "I'll help you again, I'll give you some more ideas." But yeah, if you guys have ideas out there and you want to shoot them my way, whatever it is, it helps me get creative, spur the creative part. Because coming up with these thumbnails and coming up with uh the show, 2 hours is a long time to come up with filler for all of that. Let's see. I'll be back tossing you ideas again. Getting burned out on what? Hail quartz. What? Oh, right. They don't admit it, and if they do, they do it in a disgusting manner. There's a difference. Right. Cool. Okay, Sandra. What's my dog doing? She smells her treat. There's a little bag with a treat on top of my table. She's deaf, but she can smell her treats wherever they are. She's going to knock over my whole table. I just know it. Let's see. Okay, so what else did I have? I don't know what else I had. Why do we keep doing it? Why do I keep doing it? The little things. Before it was to keep me busy because I wasn't working. Now I'm busy. That's why it seems harder to do. That's all. Now my 40 hours, 32 to 40 hours is I'm working. So all that time, see, there goes the dog. Bella, get down. Come here. I'm going to have to call the kids over here because she's going to knock all my shit down. This one I put out a call for help on my phone. Let's see who shows up to get her. Oh, she kind of settled down now, but she's still going to smell that. She is still going to smell that thing. What was I just going to say? I was just going to say something else too. I keep distracting myself. Maybe go on for an hour some weeks instead of 2. That is a good suggestion, Angel. I could have smaller, have a show, but she smells that treat up there, Mija. Right up there, there's a bag with the treat in it. That's what she wants. Oh, maybe I moved it and she still smells it there. Look on my dresser behind you. Not right there somewhere? Oh. Yeah, that one. She's smelling that. I had it over here and I threw it over there, but she wants it. Okay, what? Okay. I know what I knew. Okay, so that was a good idea. I need to write it down. Maybe I do a 2-hour show, the next week's a 1-hour show, and then a 2-hour show. And that would be really nice for me to do something like that. Maybe it could be that 1-hour show would be a news show. Now, I know we have, Steve doing Bigfoot news, but I do Bigfoot news a little bit different, So that is actually, that scared me. My cord, this little cord dropped on my leg. This freaked me out. Thank you, Angel. That's a really good idea. A 2-week Bigfoot news. Because I went looking for news today for Bigfoot. And there was like 2 things. And I think one of them's really old, actually. I'm getting the hiccups now. So let me see. Is this one that we talked about before? The Bigfoot spotted by the river rafters in Colorado? Did we talk about that? I don't remember. Did I put the picture? No, I didn't. There wasn't a picture associated with it. Because this one was dated July 24th of 2025. There were only 2 articles that were from this week. And I didn't know if this was one of them. Maybe it's to find the truth and nobody's putting out the truth. Yeah. So, okay. So this, I'll just go ahead and we'll talk about this one right here. Oh, hold on. I got to get that dog stuck. My goodness. Okay, I'm back. This has been a great show. Okay, so this one is, where did this one come from? I don't have where it's written there, but a viral video that's been circulating around social media since June has been raising questions about whether or not the Bigfoot species might be present in Colorado. While footage originally published by Colorado River Expeditions, Daily Mail reports what. Oh, now I'm thinking it looks like the same one as this one. Okay, anyway, was traveling up the upper Colorado River when the crew pulled over to the shore for a break. At that point, the lead guy, Logan Kirk, and about a dozen others are said to have spotted a creature in the mountainous terrain, estimated to be 500 yards away. The video from the scene shows a Bigfoot looking being peeking out through the trees, soon to disappear. The video has since gotten more than 620,000 views on the Colorado River Expeditions Instagram page. Okay. So that is this one that I have. I do have it here. I'm going to show it to you guys. I'm going to share Instagram. Okay. Ew. Oh, it made me small. That's okay. Okay. This is what it's in reference to. And I'll play it and we'll just let it run through. But you just see, sorry, it's so small. I don't think I can make it any bigger. Can I make it any bigger? Oh, I don't think so. Nope. There's no way for me to make it bigger. So it's that suit. It's that famous, it's the biggest, it's the number one suit on eBay, Amazon, wherever, with the big long head one. It's just a suit. And he's just peeking out, and it's from the river expeditions. It's all just especially for the tourists. Hold on. What's going on? Why am I fuzzy to you guys? I don't know. Maybe right there. Okay. What did Jonathan say? Nikki, you could do what the big producers do when they don't have new episodes, air memorable reruns from the past. Oh, reruns. Oh, instead of if I can't do a show, just rerun something from 3 years ago. The problem is, how do I do that through StreamYard when I have to delete old videos? How do I? Well, there's got to be a way through YouTube for me to do that. So I might not go through StreamYard, but it'll go through YouTube, which is fine. That is another great idea. Jonathan, was that Jonathan's idea? Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. Reruns. I never thought about doing a rerun. We had some really good shows back then. So a clip show. Oh, see, now you guys are on fire. A clip show. What happened to my pen? Stopped working. Okay. A clip show. So showing clips like this of nonsense, but a whole show of clips. I used to do clips shows, but they were hard because it takes up a lot of bandwidth. And right now I'm running a lot of stuff. I'm running StreamYard, Stream Deck, Voice Meter, OBS, my regular computer, all of that is running on one system. So it when you have a bunch of clip stuff up, it bogs you down. But still a great idea if I can figure out a way. Oh, chill shows? More chill shows? Okay. Uh yeah, they don't have to the chill shows can talk about anything. You know, the daily stuff that's going on. That's cool. Oh, thank you, Jay. Woohoo! Look what Jay did. Some of y'all are new members. Nice. Lulu Bell. Who else? Indescribable Octoman got one. And who else got one? Let's go to the Show Me Sasquatch got one. Bigfoot Dorp, Brian and Chewy, Farmer Fred Smith, Denise Ginta. Is it Ginta? Sorry if I said that. Patty Troy, you got one too. Was that it? Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Do it as a premiere. Yeah, do it as a premiere. I will. Some are going to be like, didn't we already watch this before? No. You'll lose viewerships if you do those types of things, playing a note video when you can't be on. I don't understand, Dragon Time. You'll lose viewerships if you do those. Well, I'm not really real big on the viewerships stuff because I'm not in it for the money. So I was into it for the subscribers so that I could use the music feature and stuff like that from YouTube. So my channel will never make hundreds of thousands of views ever. It would never do that. People aren't interested in that. Encounter channels, yeah, you can find a niche out there and run with it, and get a lot of views out of those things. But that's not what I'm about. So it's okay. Like I go between 200 to 500 views a show. Shows with Thomas Steenberg about Bluff Creek, about certain things will get higher views, and shows like this one will probably only break 200 or 300 maybe. Copy the link off of your channel and reload it back onto your channel. What will that do? Yeah, Glenn, you're right. He exposed everybody who was lurking. That's okay. I love my lurkers. I lurk all the time, you guys. I lurk all the time. If some of you guys are in the show, just say Nikki, and then I'll come out and say, hey. Yeah, I've been here the whole time. Well, there's another question. If you do rerun past shows, do it like a normal show where you can talk to us and we can talk to you about the memories or what we thought. Oh, okay. It's a live rebroadcast. It would be a live. I got to figure that out, Jen. Yeah, it would have to be as a premiere. I would have to just reload it up as a premiere and then I can chat with you guys. So Jonathan was correct about that. So let me take this down that I've been playing it forever. Do you want to know what they were saying on Instagram? They're saying, Oh, somebody's being smart ass and says, "What's your name? What's your name?" You know that old. Oh, that's funny. That's Steve. He was in Durango this fall. Chaka. Oh, he has a name. That's Steve. He was in Durango this fall. Oh, they're saying that's the same suit from the Durango train thing. See, I told you it looked like the same suit. It's the same dang guy. Freak people out on the train from Silverton. Oh, biggest size 10 New Balance I ever seen. Oh, you can see his tennis shoes if you zoom in. That's hilarious. Funny. Some people say shoot it. Another dude in a ghillie suit. Really? Doesn't even look like anything like a ghillie suit. Chaka. Guy in a suit. Not a Bigfoot. One of these days, someone's going to get hurt playing Bigfoot. Dancing Bigfoot. Drinking Bigfoot. Is Bigfoot real? He would hate. What? If Bigfoot was real, he would hate Colorado. Another drinking Bigfoot. Where was Groot? Oh my God. Peekaboo. Smokey the Bear. Oh my God. Doesn't look like. It's a man. Clearly fake. Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? Oh, too much. See, so some of the stuff you just got to laugh at and have fun with. Because you're laughing. Yeah. I know, Sandra. Dragon Time. Oh, YouTube Girl. I don't know what. And then this other one that was. I'll put this up again. Put this up. Oh, here it is. Let me see. This button says a pair of campers with binoculars reported seeing Bigfoot in Washington State. Ooh. And this looks like it happened June 26th. A pair of campers in Washington State could not believe their eyes when they looked through their binoculars and spotted what appeared to be a Sasquatch. The unique case was reported to the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization. Witnessed Ryland Snyder, who explained that the sighting occurred on June 26 while he was camping with a buddy at the Wenatchee River. At the two men relaxed that evening, he recalled their conversation came to a sudden stop when his friend noticed something unusual across the river. Grabbing their binoculars, the pair was stunned by what they saw. Recollecting the observation, Snyder marveled that they caught sight of a bipedal creature standing around 8 to 10 feet tall and sporting very dark reddish-brown hair that covered its whole body except its face and hands. The pair were understandably awestruck as they passed the binoculars back and forth, watching the mystifying creature figure as it moved branches and other brush around. Upon getting a second look at the suspected Sasquatch, Snyder says it turned its face towards him, revealing a very ape-like flat nose face. And then it would appear that the possible Bigfoot also noted to the two campers as the creature scanned across the river with its eyes and seemingly saw the pair, which prompted it to quickly flee the scene still on 2 feet. So, how do you know? It was on 2 feet. But I'm going to go ahead and you can find that whole report on on the BFRO. I did go and find the report to make sure that that's what it was really saying, and it does. You know, it goes into a little bit more detail, but I just wanted to thank y'all for being here again. I do have a message for my buddy Brent, and I wrote down a couple of things that I think a lot of us want to convey to him. Is that, you know, just take a moment and take a second and breathe. I know everything feels really heavy right now. Like every step you take, you're dragging the past behind you, but I need you to hear me on this. You cannot change what's already been done. None of us can. You made some choices, maybe not the best ones, maybe ones you wish with everything you had, you could just undo it. But beating yourself up over it isn't going to move you forward. You're not stuck there unless you choose to stay there. And you don't have to. You're not the only one who's messed up. Every single person walking on this earth has made mistakes they wish that they could take back. Some we carry forever, but they don't have to define who you are. They're just chapters. They're not our whole story. So you're still here. You're still waking up. You're showing up. You're trying. You took complete responsibility for your actions, and that's going to make you feel crappy. That says something about you. It says you care, and it says that you're not done, you know, and that you want us to know that that's not you. That's not who you meant to portray yourself as, but it was a mistake. And your family and your friends, they're probably hurt. They're confused right now, but they'll see the real you. Because the real you, you're a good man. You've got a good heart, and we've all seen it. You've never done anything intentionally. Well, maybe this, but you came clean. And I know it's easy to believe that you're alone in this, but you're not. I'm here. We're here. Many of us would love to talk to you. If you want, if you need somebody to vent to. We're not keeping score. You know, we're standing beside you, not in front of you. So whatever comes next, you walk into it with your head held high. Not because you're perfect, but because you're still growing. You're still learning. So keep going. Forgive yourself, because you're worth much more to all of us. And we stand behind you in all your decisions. And that's what I wanted to tell you. That you've been my best friend for several years now. So don't shut me out. Talk to me. Keep me in touch, even if it's not with Bigfoot. I don't care. So with that, everybody, going to go ahead and bring the show to an end and let y'all go early. I'm sure Steve's probably having a show tonight, so you guys can go over there and check it all out. All right. So thank you all for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button before you leave, please. And I still have that up. Yep. And I'll talk to you guys all soon and see you in the next chat.